If you're looking for the best way to learn hip-hop dancing, breaking, and acrobatics online, head over to www.wherethelavis.com. Learn anytime, anywhere, at your own pace, while unlocking the secret to learn any choreographs fast. Master your body and build confidence for life. Learn more by visiting www.wherethelavis.com. That's spelled WEARETHELAVERS. WhereTheLavers.com. You can also find them on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Where the Lavers.
You're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders. Lee Sanders.
Hey, what's going on, good kind people? Covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You are checking out a all-new Saturday night edition of the RCWR Show for September 3rd, 2022. What is going on with you good kind people? You know, we were supposed to be on sometime between 9, potentially 9:30. I gave you guys a heads up about that. As soon as we had put up a post on the communities tab over on YouTube a couple of days ago, I had let you guys know I was entertaining the idea of doing a WWE Clash at the Castle pay-per-view post show, and I wanted to know if you guys would be interested in checking it out. And basically you had until Friday night 10 p.m. Eastern after SmackDown went off the air to sound off, let me know on whether or not you guys had wanted a post show or not. And it looks like a little bit over 80% of you guys had said, yeah, we actually would love it if you could do a post show talking about Clash at the Castle. So that's what we're doing here tonight for you guys. We're also going to rewind it back later on in the show. We're going to talk about Friday night's AEW Rampage. We're also going to go over the full card for AEW All Out as their pay-per-view is coming up this Sunday. We'll get into some predictions in regards to that card as well. I hope you guys' weekend is off to a relatively decent start. It's going to be interesting to see as far as reactions go to the Clash of Champions, particularly on this post show for while we're live for the next little bit. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, the people that trickle in and sound off, let their voices be heard about the pay-per-view, because at the time that we're doing this right now, the pay-per-view has been in the books. My God, the pay-per-view has been in the books now for a little over 6-7 hours. I wish I could have watched the pay-per-view initially live, because it came on at 10 p.m. on the, well, no, not 10 p.m., 10 a.m. on the West Coast, but 1 p.m. Eastern here in the United States. And sadly, during that time, I had to go to work. I'm always at work on a Saturday. There's just no ifs, ands, or unless I put in a request to have the weekend off, particularly Saturday. I'm always working on Saturdays. So I tried watching a little bit of the WWE pay-per-view on my commute to work, but it just wasn't the same. And what I mean by that was, as far as the visual presentation goes, as far as the quality goes, it just wasn't banging, man. I was seeing so much pixelated crap. It wasn't even funny. And I said, nah, man, I want to really be able to experience this. Yeah, I want to be able to watch it on the big screen, great high definition. I want to be able to hear those fans and everything. I love this pay-per-view overall. I thought it was definitely a nice change of pace for what it was worth. Shout out to our listeners, fans of wrestling overseas, over there in the UK there, because I always say this, but I sincerely mean it. Whenever we get a pay-per-view here in the United States on the East Coast, sometimes we happen to complain about how long these pay-per-views be going. And we never think about, hey, the fan that's overseas, maybe they have it 2 times bad than us, right? And usually those that are outside the United States, especially in the UK, they got it bad, because at the time that our pay-per-views are on here in the East Coast, they have to get up somewhere around 3 or 4 in the morning just to watch the pay-per-view in real time with us. And then, man, if they are dependent on how amped up, how energetic they are coming off of that pay-per-view that they've watched, they may try to check out a post show afterwards just to sound off on what they thought about the pay-per-view and everything. And so at that point, now you're talking about, 5, 6, maybe almost 7 in the morning, depending, right? So, it's nice that for our fans over there in the UK, they had got a nice welcome change of pace and everything. I got to tell you, how many people did they announce in attendance that was there for Clash at the Castle? At least over 60,000 fans in attendance there in Cardiff, Wales at the Principality Stadium. I mean, that stadium looked jam fucking packed. I love all the great camera shots they were able to take from that stadium. I actually did a little bit of research on it and everything. It looks like, as far as its maximum capacity goes, I'm seeing 73,931. Now, that's for the rugby union and for football. However, I'm seeing that it could also do 78,000 for boxing. You heard me right. It has a capacity of 78,000 for boxing. But for wrestling, I'm seeing 62,296. I'm very curious to know what the official number was for WWE, doing their thing this weekend. I'm very curious what the official number is. I don't recall seeing it or hearing it during Clash at the Castle tonight. For those of you that maybe had watched the pay-per-view in its entirety and you do remember hearing a attendance number, whether you're going to be checking this out live that we're on for the next little bit, or you'll be checking this out for on demand and on the downloads, you're more than welcome to get at me all throughout social media, sound off and let me know, and I'll definitely give you some love on the next show and everything. But so I mean, you hear those numbers as far as the capacity goes, and that just lets you know that, well, no matter what the occasion might be, and if push comes to shove, they can definitely open up some more seats and everything. But it looked spectacular out there, and it was interesting because when it counted the most, even though this was a overseas pay-per-view, you all that's been checking out the show for a significant period of time, you guys know how much I love to kick back and watch my wrestling while it's on mute, because it really helps me focus better on the in-ring action. But I did find myself a couple of times during this pay-per-view event unmuting to hear the crowd and everything. Very infectious, energetic crowd. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. You guys over there at that stadium in Cardiff, you guys fucking rocked. Thank you to you wrestling fans out there for representing that we're able to go to that arena and hold it down. Sincerely, you guys did phenomenal in representing the wrestling community. Definitely want to tip my hat off to you. So I did not see the pre-show match that went down for this. I was surprised that there was actually a pre-show match, all things considered, but there was. Madcap Moss and the Street Profits teamed up. They defeated Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy. It was a 6-man tag match, went about 6 minutes, 29 seconds. I'm sure many of you guys that didn't watch the pay-per-view yet, you probably were wondering, I wonder if Austin Theory is maybe going to make an appearance at this pay-per-view. Well, in spirit, he did, at least as far as the pre-show matchup goes. He definitely represented. To the actual start of the card, which had 6 matches total. That was on the card. There was no, gotta pull an improv. Okay, we gotta kill some more time. Let's just throw in a bonus match here or throw a bonus match there. No, we did not get that. It was pretty much straight down. The only thing that maybe took some of us by surprise was the pre-show match, all things considered. And when I say all things considered, probably threw some people by surprise, is the fact that, again, I'd said it a few seconds ago, but again, we had this pay-per-view start 10 a.m. if you're on the West Coast, 1 p.m. on the East Coast. So I definitely was a little bit surprised that, it wasn't just your traditional yakety yak pre-show, but that they actually went on ahead and put a match in there, right? So it is what it is. Actual card, though, Damage Control. So now we know the official name of the Bayley Trio. I was liking the idea of them being called Bayley's Delights or whatever, kind of going off of what we talked about from the last show. You guys just got to check out the previous show and understand the meaning of that and everything. But they're now called Damage Control. It'll grow on me. I kind of dig the name. If I maybe saw some logos for this and everything, I probably, okay, yeah, you know what? I can definitely get behind that. Okay, cool. You know what it reminds me a lot of, though? Damage Control. Like, the first thing that came into my mind as soon as I heard the name of the Bayley stable, I'm going, oh, okay, you guys sound like Damage Plan. I don't know how many of you guys are into your all things hard rock and metal, but Damage Plan was a heavy metal band. They were from the Dallas, Texas area. They formed in 2003. And this band had immediately came from the ashes after the demise of Pantera. You got to remember Phil Asano. I mean, this guy was just kind of all over the fucking place. I know he was very deep into, the fucking drugs and, all that other shit. But he started, Phil Anselmo, he started getting like this mega fucking ego that, he was all that in a bag of chips and then some. And as far as what was going to be going on with Pantera and its future, the other surviving members of Pantera, they pretty much were like, okay, look, Phil's going, he's gonna go do his own fucking thing, fuck this dude, it is what it is, whatever. So Dimebag Daryl, Vinnie Paul, they wanted to start a new band as a result of all the bullshit that was going on with Pantera. So they had recruited former Diesel Machine and Helfer guitarist Patrick Latchman. They got him on vocals, and then later it was Bob Zila on bass. And man, you look at that first album, Newfound Power, that came out. I mean, that was their only album too. That was their only album, but it did phenomenally fucking good, But that's exactly what I was thinking of as soon as I heard the name of the new Bayley Trio. I'm going, okay, so what's their new name now? What are we calling them? It's like Damage Control. Damage Control, like, with the right type of logos and all that, it's kind of, I got to get used to it, but it's something that I think, not just with me, but with many fans, it'll grow on them and everything. Hopefully, though, for those that's into their rock, metal, hopefully they kind of thought a little bit about Damage Plan as soon as they heard that name, right? But anyway, Damage Control's Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, defeating Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, 6-woman tag team matchup, 18 minutes, 44 seconds. We're kind of going back to what we had talked about on Wednesday night's RCWR show, which you can catch for on demand and on downloads now, wherever you get your podcast. I said to you guys, well, shit, all things considered, with Dakota Kai and Io Sky, we just saw them on Monday Night Raw, and they were in that women's tag team title tournament finals going up against Raquel Gonzalez and Aaliyah. You seeing how that had played out, you're going, well, shit, surely Team Bayley, and after all, this is now Team Bayley, aka Damage Control's first major outing on a pay-per-view, and Bayley's involved. He just kind of out the gate. No, they're not losing. There's just no way they're gonna be losing this, right? Seems like they've been otherwise respectfully built up so far. So, I mean, I don't think it was ever really a question for most people that, nah, Damage Control, Bailey stable, they should definitely get out of this with the W. I think it was just a matter of how entertaining was the matchup going to be, all things considered. And I thought out of the gate, I thought all the women in this tag match, even Alexa Bliss, normally I am a very harsh critic when it comes to Alexa Bliss, because Alexa Bliss, as far as her moveset goes and everything, I mean, it don't get no more basic than basic when it comes to Alexa Bliss. But, I was even enjoying her for the little bit that she was in there doing her thing on offense and everything. I thought she even shined in this one for what it was worth. So I definitely got to give her some mad fucking props for all intents and purposes. It was honestly a good way to start the pay-per-view, and whoever was booking this, as far as figuring out the order of the matches, how it all needs to come about, having this pretty much open up, I thought was a brilliant freaking move on so many levels, yet challenging at the same time. I'm just curious, and I would love to know in a interview with Bailey somewhere down the road or whatnot, or maybe whoever was behind the scenes in charge of booking this and everything, I would love to know if they had anticipated the Bailey chants from that crowd. I mean, we know how it is every time WWE is overseas and, hey, Bailey, and Bailey, I love how she acknowledged it in her own heelish way while trying to stick it right back to the fans, but the fans just were not fucking having it, and kudos to Bailey. I don't know if that was an audible she used, but she decided, okay, I need to try to get some fucking heat here because these guys, they're forgetting that I'm the freaking heel. They're supposed to boo me. What the hell can I? Okay, I tell you what, I'll just go charge into the corner and attack the first babyface that I see. I forgot who the hell she sucker punch / clothesline in the corner, but Bianca coming right back, returning the same gesture, and then for all the women to pretty much get into the ring and just explode on one another. I thought that was a really nice touch, but that crowd would not be denied. Anytime Bailey was trying to do a little something, that crowd was letting her have it there, man. They were definitely letting her have it for all intents and purposes. But good way to start the pay-per-view with these girls. Right team going over, of course. Damage Control. Right team should have gone over. And I like how we have the emphasis, if you want to call it that. I definitely think so. I would love to know what you guys think. But I love the fact that the way we're essentially building up Damage Control and everything is Bailey. For all intents and purposes, it seems as though Bailey is being the one to be groomed and set up for that next title shot opportunity against Bianca Belair, the way it's looking. And you know what? I am totally all fine for that, because now that the man, Becky Lynch, looks like she's stepped away for a hot little bit, recharge her batteries and all that. She's out. Bianca has pretty much went through the whole gauntlet of competition. So the fact that we've got Bailey in the mix right now, and then not to mention we also got Dakota and Io Sky and all that. But, for right now, let's just really home in on Bailey. I like the fact that, all right, no, we're going to groom. We're going to set it up. We're going to build up Bailey, right? She's a good option. She's a good option right now. As far as how Damage Control was, for those of you that might be a little bit curious, you didn't see the pay-per-view yet, or you want to get my thoughts on what I thought about Damage Control in general, I thought all three of these girls gelled extremely well with one another. I mean, they were just fucking clicking on all cylinders, and they had fantastic synergy. I really love their teamwork etiquette. I mean, everything just seemed to be clicking. You know, you look at some teams and you're going, I just don't see it. This is more so about a individual as opposed to, you know, team, because when you think of team, you know, you're thinking synergy. You're thinking, okay, we're operating as a cohesive unit, right? You're thinking about, you know, good little banter, you know, little nuances like that. But these girls in Damage Control, they definitely had all of that in this. So I gotta say, that really took me back. I was quite surprised, all things considered, because, you know, it's not like we've seen the three of these girls on a consistent basis since they popped up at SummerSlam. You know, it's not like we've seen just the trio just having matches left and right. That really hasn't been the case at all when you go back and look at the match history and everything all the way up until now, right? So definitely was quite taken back by that. Loved it. Well, for all intents and purposes, loved it. They kept things fresh. They kept it very interesting. All the girls in general, nice placement as far as making this be the opener. And then to have the villains go over on top of that, when you really stop and think about it, right? The villains went over. You know, if you were looking at this card, you're going, man, this seems pretty heavy. Villain, you know, as far as going over. And you're saying to yourself, surely there's going to be a couple of surprises here that I didn't quite see that one coming, right? But is what it is. All the girls did fantastically well. I love the one point during the match where we saw Asuka and Io Sky button heads, and I loved hearing fucking Michael Cole, you know, mention the fact that, hey, you know, Asuka and Io Sky, you know, about 10 years ago, they were running around in a little stable. I love those little nuggets of gems of info. I actually had the closed captioning on, you know, as I'm reading Cole say this, and then I actually unmuted and rewinded just to actually hear him. And, you know, that's the other thing that I got to say from a production value standpoint. The production was just off the chains for this show. Off the fucking chains for this. I thoroughly found myself enjoying it, but I also found that Michael Cole, from what I was reading, and then the few times I was listening, you know, I loved hearing Michael Cole and the rest of the guys. It felt very loose as far as the commentary goes. You know, it's like, man, what a difference as far as, you know, who's in the ear or who's saying what, you know, whatever, you know. So good shit right there. Tyson Fury was in the house. He was involved in a backstage little segment wishing his buddy Drew McIntyre the best of luck and everything. We know the two of them have gotten pretty close within recent years. We also got a look back at the main event for SummerSlam 1992, one of my all-time favorite matches. And I'm not just saying that because we had this pay-per-view and everything, but legit, it is one of my all-time favorite matches, especially when I go back in the analytics of SummerSlam history. Of course, I'm talking about Bret Hart taking on the British Bulldog. The family of British Bulldog were in the house, and Bret Hart was in the house as well. They had got separate little introductions, applauses, and all that. They were actually in the crowd and all that. So that was pretty badass. Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther successfully retaining it over Sheamus. That match went 19 minutes, 33 seconds. I gotta tell you, match of the fucking year. Match of the fucking year. Is definitely a candidate. It's definitely a candidate in my book. You know, look, we got a lot more wrestling to go in 2022. So I've really got to be able to sit down and just, because I've had a nice little Rolodex on the computer that I've been keeping of certain matches that stick out to my mind as, you know what, year-end awards, you know, certain categories. I'm looking at certain matches and I'm going, God damn. And I told you guys when we were going over the card on Wednesday and we were offering match predictions, I had said to you guys, you know, this could be the sleeper hit match of the entire card. This could be the one that's definitely going to have a lot of people talking. And I cannot stress this enough. For those of you that can appreciate watching something without the volume on, you got to go out of your way. Even if you saw this match in its entirety, but you had the audio on, I challenge you to go back and watch this match with no volume. Because, again, for the entire pay-per-view, you know, when I was watching the replay, I'm watching it on mute. I only unmuted when I felt it was necessary to hear certain things, certain reactions from the crowd and all that. But, like, out of 100%, 90% of, what was it? This pay-per-view went about 3 hours and 20-something minutes. I had it on mute. And I was feeling myself just getting into this match big time. These two men were beating the holy living shit out of each other. I love this. You know, you get me a good Sheamus match where Sheamus doesn't have to worry about, you know, somebody, oh, please, I don't want to get hit too hard. I'll do the clubbing on the chest, but that's really it. You know, please don't mess with my face. You know, don't really mess with my body. Just, I just want to have a nice little match. You know, you get Sheamus with the right guy. That's just pretty much, yo, man, if you want to seriously get down physically, I'm your man. I'll be your Huckleberry Hound. Let's fucking go there, right? You get him with the right person. Yeah, I'm reminded of all those matches that Sheamus had against Drew McIntyre and how classic those fucking bouts were. I mean, I remember particularly, you know, when we were knee deep in the pandemic there, and we're just kind of going, you know, Sheamus and Drew, they were really delivering some memorable freaking matches. And then let's not also forget, there was that period of time where for, I think, a month, maybe a month and a half, might have been almost 2 months, I remember being on this show saying to you guys, God damn, Sheamus has just been on a whole nother level, and I made him my dark horse MVP, right? Because of his work rate and everything. This one with Gunther, man, this was a goddamn slobber knocker, for all intents and purposes. I love this. Of all the matches on this card, you know, if there's one match that I would go out of my way and say, you know what, man, you gotta watch this. You just gotta watch this one. This is the one I would definitely pick out. This is the one I would have pick out. You know, if I were to maybe talk to somebody that hasn't been checking out the WWE product in a couple of years or several years, and they're trying to figure out, you know, who's who, what's going on, I think I would pull up this match and I would show them this one. Sincerely. And the crowd, man, they were really loving this. Sincerely. From the moment go, they were into this. But the longer that this match went, and you're just seeing the physicality, the brutal physicality that's coming from both of these men, you're going, dude, you know, these guys are letting it all fucking hang, man, and then fucking some. Yeah, this was fucking all the matches on this card. And, you know, let's go through the grading system too, by the way, in regards to Damage Control taking on Asuka, Bianca, and Bliss. I'm probably going to give that a respected B, maybe a B minus. But in regards to Sheamus and Gunther, I've got to give that the highest rating possible. I got to give that an A. I can't go any higher. I damn sure cannot go any lower. You know, as soon as I heard that these two men were going to be fighting each other on this pay-per-view card, I'm going, yo, nobody should even fucking question, especially if you've seen enough of Gunther from down in NXT, you know what you can expect of him. And the fact that he's going to be locking it up with Sheamus, oh, you know this is going to be a straight up bona fide. These men are going to beat the living shit out of each other. Very hard hitting. I mean, hard hitting shot after shot after shot after shot. I mean, you could see it on their faces. You could see it on their backs. You could see it on their chest, their stomach, all that shit. This was fucking, this was good. This was good. Gunther, here's the bigger story, though, that we need to make sure that we're homing in on. And that's the fact that, and I know everybody's going to be tripping over the fact that now added to the new Imperial stable, who they add? They added, oh God, I'm trying to think of his name because we haven't been seeing him down in NXT that long. But I mean, he literally looks like a fake me out Cesaro. He looks like a great value Cesaro. I'm trying to, let me go back into my notes here, see if I can. Giovanni Vinci made his debut tonight as he's now with Imperium. So, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. By the way, I love seeing the brawl that went down right before Sheamus and Gunther went toe-to-toe with each other. I love how they were just staring each other down. Meanwhile, you're looking at Giovanni and you're looking at Kaiser. You know, they're standing beside Gunther as Gunther's in the middle. You know, opposite side, you got fucking Sheamus right there. And then who was it? Butch was there. Rich Holiday was there, right? So all those guys are just brawling like a mofo, and the action is spilling outside the ring. Meanwhile, you've got Gunther and Sheamus just standing there, and they are not taking their eyes off of one another. They ain't moving until somebody rings the bell. And it took a minute. I mean, they were standing there in the middle of the ring just eyeing each other for at least 2, maybe 3 minutes. Definitely felt like an eternity. But once that bell rung, oh man, these guys were just going to fucking town. And I definitely was loving that. But the bigger story here is the fact that Gunther got his first major victory over an established WWE superstar. That's the real story right here, over an established veteran, right? You know, let's not forget, Sheamus is a former world heavyweight champion for what it's worth. He's a former world heavyweight champion. So, you know, you can't, and without a doubt, the type of career that Sheamus has had, definitely a future Hall of Famer, without a shadow of doubt. But Gunther going over Sheamus, right? I mean, that's adding, and then it's for the Intercontinental Championship. That's just adding even more prestige. That's just adding even more to the mystique of the man that is Gunther, you know, ultimately, and trying to help, you know, really establish this guy, you know, really make him be a force to reckon with and everything. I love the final moments of this matchup too. You know, there was a couple of spots during this match where I was a little bit concerned for Gunther because, you know, I know, and he's done a fantastic job with the amount of weight that he's lost. He's a fantastic job. I definitely don't question his cardio. I'm not questioning his cardio whatsoever. But there were 2 particular spots in this match where I'm going, damn, is Gunther all right? Is he kind of running out of steam a little bit? Because I remember Gunther had tried to do a drop kick to Sheamus into the corner. And it looked like Gunther, you know, barely was able to muster up the energy to do that drop kick, and seemed as though Sheamus had to oversell because, you know, the way the camera angle looked, it kind of looked as though Gunther missed that drop kick by a mile, okay? And then he followed up afterwards, did Gunther, and did this, you know, like a jackknife power bomb, basically. But the way he did the power bomb, Sheamus landed on his ass. I mean, like the bottom of his ass. You're ready for Sheamus to, okay, he's gonna, go back first, right? Nothing new, nothing special, right? But you see him hit that joint with his ass, and you're going, ooh, and you're going, okay, tailbone, and the tailbone's connected to that, right? You know the song. Do the song, folks. So you're going, ooh, hope Sheamus is okay, because if you followed the career of Sheamus for a long time, at one point he was about to retire because back injuries was really starting to get the best of him, and then he looked into DDP yoga and some other stuff, and he's pretty much been all right ever since and everything. But I don't know about you guys, but I literally cringed at that spot, and I'm going, damn, I hope Sheamus is okay here, like legit. And I knew Sheamus was all right. Well, so I think later on when we saw Walter pretty much do that same power bomb again, and you're going, okay, all right, so it's safe to say we know the type of story that they're trying to tell right here. Gunther's trying to, he's aware of, especially if you're thinking about what the commentators might be saying as they're seeing some of this stuff play out. You're going, okay, Gunther is specifically targeting, the lower back of Sheamus. Sheamus has some back issues. Okay, well, then you're going, okay, well, this is kind of smart, the way that Gunther is going about doing this, right? But I love the close-in moments of this matchup as Sheamus catches Gunther up on the top, connects with a Razor's Edge for 2. It was a double knockdown, basically. Then he tried going for the bro kick. Sheamus did. That didn't work as his back gave out right as he was going for the bro kick. And that pretty much had set up a power bomb for 2, get back up, and Gunther just blasts the hell out of Sheamus with a clothesline to retain the championship. Definitely a fantastic fight. Definitely well needed for Gunther, really trying to help take him to that next level and everything. And I'm very high on Gunther, in case you guys could not tell. To the point, you do this right. You build this guy up just right. You can definitely, I'm not saying 2022, but maybe second quarter of 2023, summer of 2023, if you maybe wanted to do a run with Gunther as a champion, because I'm definitely picturing by then, I'm picturing the monopoly broken up again as far as the championships go. I know some of you guys are like, why is there still 2 championships? Why can't we just get one? There's a reason for that, and we talked about it on Wednesday night's RCWR show, so check it out when you guys get a chance. But right circumstances, right storyline, and all of that. Don't be too surprised if by summer of 2023, Gunther is getting a run there as a World Heavyweight Champion. Don't be too surprised. Get a recap of everything that's been happening with... Oh, by the way, I love the standing ovation that Sheamus got for that match by the crowd. This, I know for some of you guys, you make, that overzealous crowd, or... No, sincerely, especially for those of you that did not watch this pay-per-view yet. And again, my challenge to you, when you get ready to watch that match, watch it with the volume off. You're really, really able to appreciate the storytelling and the physicality that went into this. And you will feel yourself getting into this match within the first 3 to 4 minutes tops. I promise you. You will only notice the crowd is into it after you catch yourself going, man, I'm really liking this. You're really into it. But nice standing ovation there for Sheamus. That was a nice moment. Get a recap of Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler, how everything had came to be, as that was our next matchup. Liv Morgan taking on Shayna Baszler. I was rooting for Shayna Baszler. I was hoping that maybe, by the way, welcome to those of you that's tuning in right now. I will, I see you guys, and I will give you your Roman Reigns moments, and I will acknowledge you when we get an opportunity. But shout out to those of you. I am reading the comments. Just so you guys know, I am reading the comments as they're coming in. Welcome to those of you that's tuning in, whether you're checking us out via YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Did we mention Twitter? YouTube. We didn't mention YouTube. However you're checking us out, appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor now that we're halfway into the card, because we got loads more great wrestling content we're going to be talking about much later on in the show. But if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. When you do that, you really help put more eyeballs on the content. Subscribe as well. Join our growing community of over 12,000 and almost 200 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, youtube.com/the RCWR show. We are on Discord as well. We are on Discord through the Wrestling Soup Network. So all you got to do is just check out the episode description. You can click on that link, and it'll take you to the Discord. We're also usually streaming shows in the Discord there. FYI for you guys. Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler. I went with Shayna Baszler for this one. I just felt, God, it's time. You know, I'm kind of reminded back to the panel I did back in June with my buddies there and Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup and Julian Cannon of Wrestling Court. And I remember just, you know, Liv Morgan, and Mish was like, yeah, you're really into Liv Morgan, huh? I'm like, no, I just see where this shit is going as well as you do. And, you know, I am so tired. I'm so tired of the Liv Morgan character. I am. To have me try and legitimately believe that Liv Morgan can get the best of Ronda Rousey and now she gets the best of Shayna Baszler. I mean, when I think of Liv Morgan, all I think about is the pouty faces that she makes, the excessive crying that she's always doing. God damn, I thought Sasha Banks was bad. You know, every time she be having a classic fucking match and she just be breaking down in tears and just cradling herself in a fucking ball or whatever. I thought Sasha Banks was bad. Liv Morgan is taking this shit to a whole new other level. Sorry, fans, particularly you fans of Liv Morgan. I'm just calling it how I see it. And just because I'm calling it how I see it, it doesn't mean at the end of the day that I am right and everybody else is wrong. We can have a difference of opinion, but God damn, I am tired of this fucking reign. Sincerely, I am tired of this fucking reign. Now, look, I appreciate the psychology that was told in this. Remember a couple of weeks ago, Shayna had targeted that left arm of Liv Morgan's. Okay, so you're going, yeah, there's no way that arm can truly be at 100%. It may feel good, may feel a lot better, but much like if you get a scar on your forearm from maybe your pet or whatever, you know, yeah, give it about 3-4 days. Keep putting that Neosporin on it. Yeah, it's starting to feel good and everything, but you could still take that finger and you can still feel the scrapes. You can still feel those impressions from when your skin had initially broke. And you know what? If you were to just keep with your nail or whatever, or take a sharp object and you were to just keep picking and picking away, eventually you're gonna reopen that wound. You're gonna re-aggravate it and all that. So I like the psychology that they had in this match, having Shayna Baszler go back to that left arm and everything. And to Liv Morgan's credit, Liv did a fantastic job selling the fuck out of what all was going on with her arm, even when she was able to get in a little bit of offense. I liked seeing Liv Morgan not forgetting, oh yeah, my arm is still fucked up. Couple of hiccups here and there. Like for me, there were times where Liv Morgan was in the corner and she's trying to, well, not try, she did. She pushes herself up on the ropes while in the corner just so she can get her legs up over Shayna or do some type of a alley-oop and all that. Yeah, call me a stickler for detail, but I'm looking at some of those parts going, no. Your arm should be given out. If Shayna Baszler is working that arm like that, your arm should be buckling out and you should be damn near collapsing. You should, right? So, for me, you could call me a stickler for detail there. Too much detail there, but no, that's just honestly how I felt. The only thing that they did in this particular matchup that I will say, they made sure that Liv Morgan definitively defeated Shayna Baszler. They made sure that, no shadow of doubt. Yeah, we told this story where her arm is being fucked up and all that. She's crying about it. And it was weird watching her make these faces because you're watching Liv Morgan. And it's like, okay, sell me the fact that you are in pain, that you are in agony, right? And the face that she's making this face like her goldfish is fucking dead or something. Or she's not allowed to have, you're not allowed to have any pudding until you eat your gravy. She is literally looking like, that spoiled little kid at the grocery store that wants Captain Crunch. But, mommy and daddy is saying, no, that's too much sugar and it's bad for your teeth. And she's just pouting her lip. I didn't like any of that shit. I did not like any of that shit. To the point I'm going, damn, has this girl ever broken a limb before in her entire fucking life? Has she ever tweaked? Has she ever sprained? Because if you have, that's not the face that you're gonna be making, god damn it. You're gonna be grimacing. You're gonna sharp yells of pain there, right? Shrieks of because it's a sharpness that's to it, right? I mean, it's as simple as, and if you don't know that feeling, then you go to the site. Hey, have you ever? Yeah, as a matter of, okay, so what's some of the way you felt? Did you make facial expressions? Did you, she just looked so fucking pouty and like she was about to bust out in fucking tears like always, but that's every single fucking Liv Morgan match. I am so done with this woman, sincerely. I need a new drug, one that won't make me sick. WWE, come on now. We got to be done with this Liv Morgan experiment already. It ain't working. Nice story with Morgan, setting her up and everything. Nice comeback feel. I'll give you that. I'll see you fucking halfway. Closing moments of this matchup. Hard knee to the face. Gets a 2 count on Liv Morgan, did Shayna Baszler. And then there was the Karafuda clutch. Morgan had managed to slip out of that bad boy as Baszler tried to go for it again, only to have Morgan roll back to escape. Codebreaker going into an oblivion to retain the championship. Again, that match particular, that was 11 minutes. 11 minutes of a match. 11 minutes, maybe a couple of seconds, but definitely 11 minutes of a matchup. I got to give this one, I'll give it a C for effort. I appreciate the effort, as far as the storytelling and all that goes, but watching the crowd in this one too, I'm thinking about the crowd's reactions for each and every single one of these matches. And I gotta say, other than the introductions, letting their voices be heard about what they think about Shayna Baszler, boo! Liv Morgan, yay! I mean, I had this on mute, so you could tell me otherwise, but I'm looking at the crowd, And I'm looking knee deep into the seats and rows and all that. I'm just looking. And I swear to God, all the fans, they just seemed like they were sitting on their hands. Just sitting on their hands. Just, you know, they're looking. They're trying to stay entertained. You're looking at it, right? You know, it had maybe one or two spots that maybe they enjoyed, but for the most part, just sitting on their hands. That's all this was. But this Liv Morgan reign, it ain't working. This Liv Morgan reign is not working. I don't know if the answer is maybe you need to have her go the heel route. Personally, I don't fucking think the heel route is going to work. I just think you need to go on ahead and take that championship off of her already. But it just ain't working. You know, she just feels like an afterthought of a champion. And having her work with Shayna Baszler, look, I love Shayna Baszler. I will say this in regards to Shayna Baszler. And let me give Shayna Baszler her flowers for a hot minute. The Shayna Baszler I saw on this pay-per-view was a truly nice throwback to the Shayna Baszler that I was coming up appreciating down in NXT, to the point I remember there was a tweet that Shayna Baszler had put out there, if not within the past week, definitely within the past 3 weeks. You know, she basically said something along the lines of, you know, hey, those of you that's been continuing to support me and all that, continue to do so. But, you know, look, I'm just starting to scratch the surface. You know, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just be patient. Stay with me. Right. And I liked what I saw of Shayna Baszler, you know, the psychology that she had in this. It was a nice throwback to the Shayna Baszler that we were used to seeing from NXT. And remember, for what it was worth, what's going on here? Hang on a second here, guys. I'm trying to see something real quick here. I'm watching you guys, paying attention to the stream, making sure that everything on the up and up is good. And it looks like we somehow got disconnected here. Hang on here. How did we get disconnected? Somehow we got disconnected, but the recorder is still on. Hang on here. Okay, we're having some internet issues here. Let me try this again. Oh, that's hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. Let me try this. That is fucking hilarious. So we talk about fucking Liv Morgan, and the stream gets interrupted. You can't make this shit up, y'all. Again, I don't think that when you're looking at the SmackDown side of things, unless you're going to put that championship right back on Ronda Rousey, I think that at this point, as far as what could possibly be coming down the pipeline, that's where things get a little bit tricky. I think going down the pipeline, maybe, just maybe, it's going to be Mandy Rose, Toxic Attraction. I could definitely see at this point Mandy Rose being the one to take that championship away from Liv Morgan. Let's see if, I'm trying to see if we're streaming officially now, and I'm not seeing anything through Restream. So let me see if we're actually connected here, because it's kind of weird. Okay, so we are connected. Okay, it's weird because I'm actually looking on YouTube. I'm trying to see the actual video, and it's not showing it to me for some weird reason. Your guess is as good as mine. Give me a second here. Yeah, that's weird. I'm not seeing it. So hang on here. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. Hang on. Let me try one more. I'm going to have a fun time putting all this together in post-production, by the way. This is going to be fucking lovely. All right, me see here. Okay. Yeah, you guys got it now. That's weird. It took a long time for it to pop back up. So give me a second here. Let me just swap out that thumbnail. Swap that thumbnail out. And I'm going to just put that back together. Okay, so we got that going. Yeah, for you guys that's watching live, I've had the audio recording the entire time in the background. So it's going to be just one smooth fucking show when I edit it in post-production. But the webcast, that's where we got the issue. With the webcast, I'm just going to have to put it together in 2 parts, make it as one, and then just re-air the post-show quickly. But to the point that I was making earlier, I think at this point, honestly, a heel Liv Morgan, that just ain't going to work. You can pretty much forget about that. I think at this point, for me at least, it feels, and I'm just going with my gut instincts, but it feels like maybe Liv Morgan is holding that championship just long enough for somebody else to come along and fucking take it from her. And, as much as I would like to see Ronda Rousey be the one to maybe, I don't see that happening, because let's be honest, the Ronda Rousey experiment, this second rodeo, it just has not been clicking on all cylinders. It hasn't been nowhere as captivating, as imaginative, as fun as her first rodeo in the WWE. So, they're going to have to try to figure that out, right? But at the same time, you got a guy like Triple H now at the helm. Shouldn't take that long to figure out how to best do what they need to do with our girl there and Ronda Rousey. But yeah, I'm thinking Toxic Attraction. I'm thinking Mandy. Mandy's been saying numerous times in recent interviews and all that she's itching. She's looking forward to going back to the main roster and everything. She is more than ready to go back. I think that now that she's really rediscovered herself and rededicated herself for that matter. Yeah, go ahead. Not for nothing, but we've already seen Gigi Dolan and the other girl, was it JC? We've already seen them, off and on here and there. So it's a perfect transition when you really stop and you think about it. So, but yeah, I'm going to give that match I'm probably going to give that match a C for effort. I can't go no lower. I can't go no higher. All right, let's keep it rocking and rolling. Rey Mysterio, Edge teaming up to take on Judgment Day. Edge and Rey Mysterio going over on this one. 12 minutes of a match. Good stuff was in there. Good stuff. I'm not quite a fan of Edge being the one to get the pinfall victory for the team. But, this is just where we're going with it. It's like, okay, we're here, okay? The story post-match, the real story. Dominic Mysterio turning. I loved it. I loved it. I said to you guys, it was interesting too, because I said to you guys when we were going over match predictions, I'm having a hard time seeing them just go full blown. All right, we're turning it on. We're going to have Dominic go heel. I felt that if anything, there was going to continue to be this weird, whatever you want to call it, going on between Dominic and Rhea Ripley, to the point that the commentators, I was expecting them to maybe say a little something along the lines of, well, what is going on here between these two? There's got to be more to it that meets the eye, and what we're seeing here that's usually playing out with these two. I was expecting for Judgment Day to go over as a result of Dominic kind of getting caught up in the crosshairs and all that. That's exactly how I was expecting everything to go down, but it didn't play out that way. So instead, to see Ray and Edge celebrating, Dominic kind of looking for his, where's my time? You know, where's my hand being raised? What about what I did? What about, right? You know, and to have that moment with Dominic and Edge, and Ray's looking at Dom, hey, come on, man. He helped us win. Come on. And Dominic just cold kicks Edge in the balls. Beautiful selling on Edge's part too. Edge act like he got shot. I loved it. I fucking loved it. But yeah, just, oh God, I could watch that all day. I would imagine that's a GIF now. It's got to be GIF or GIF. If it's not, somebody needs to make it already. Ray wondering why Dom did that to Edge. And Dom just playing, you know, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. And then just clotheslining the hell out of his father. I mean, those fans in the arena were in shock, but I'm not going to say I was in shock. If anything, you know, I was surprised that we did it right here. I was very surprised that we did it right here, because I felt that, feels like we got a couple of more weeks to go. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing for me, but I welcomed it. Not to mention, if you were going to have this go down, what better place than where you did it earlier today? That was the right place in front of the right crowd to get the right reactions, to ride that going into your next batch of weeks of main WWE programming. So it was good. It was good. I'll give him a high mark on that one. But this stuff with Judgment Day, you know, we got to be past this already. We just got to go on ahead and wrap this up. I truly hope that the Judgment Day, Edge, I just need this to be over and done with. It's just getting really played out. You know, I say that, but I would not be surprised if coming up at the next WWE pay-per-view, which is going to be Extreme Rules, we're going to be seeing these guys go at it again. I pray to God that's not the case, but it just feels like we're going to be going in that direction. And the attendance, somebody just sent me a private message on Twitter. The attendance was, in fact, 62,296, the number that I had read actually earlier. So, yes, they did good for a first there. So, congrats to WWE for that. Good record attendance. But, you know, Dominic, here's the thing. And I know there's going to be some other shows that's, especially some of my colleagues, they are not going to be that kind to Dominic. Dominic ripping his shirt off, I get it from the symbolic standpoint, which is fuck this whole Mysterio. I get that, right? He wants to be his own man, and right, I get that. But man, to just rip that shirt off, and Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I don't want to go there. I don't, right? But I will go there, okay? And before anybody goes, oh man, Lee picking on a poor kid. Wait a minute now. Let's get something straight here. Dominic Mysterio is 25 years old. He's a young man, okay? He ain't no boy no more. He's a young man, okay? Yeah, if you're going to go down this path as far as being a heel and all that other shit, okay, it's time to go into that gym. It's time to do some squats. It's time to do some sit-ups. It's time to do some push-ups. You ain't got to have no Randy Orton build, okay? You ain't got to have no Randy Orton build. You can honestly have an Eddie Kingston build. I don't think there's anything wrong with Eddie Kingston personally. Okay, have yourself an Eddie Kingston build. Hell, you could have a vintage Chris Jericho build from about 6-7 months ago. But, man, I'm not making fun of, I'm not. I know other shows will. I'm not making fun of Dominic Mysterio. But if there was ever a time where me as a man, I look at another guy and he's taking his shirt off and I'm going, no, put your shirt back on. That's not good. That is not good. He needs toning. That's his biggest issue right now. He needs toning, okay? He ain't got to push no 8-pack. He ain't got to push no, biceps and delts. He ain't got to be all Arnold Schwarzenegger looking, but man, that was just, it took me out of the moment. And I wouldn't be surprised if it had took a lot of people out of the moment. It really should have just been all about the action that he did to those men in the ring, as opposed to what he did outside the ring, stripping his shirt off and all that. Like, no. But I've been saying off and on for some years, let's see him go heel. Let him grow some stubble. Maybe that'll help him out a little bit. I'm not quite convinced what he will be able to do as a heel. I'm most curious to see what's going to happen with him as early as this Monday's Raw, how well he will be able to carry himself. But if I were a betting man, and even though this pay-per-view was a couple of hours ago, I'm giving you my immediate reactions having seen the pay-per-view and just kind of going with the flow, getting the feel of where things could possibly be going with this new chapter involving Rey and Dominic Mysterio. I really hope that we're done with Judgment Day. But I'm not going to be surprised if somehow this shit continues. Okay? So have that in the back of your mind. I mean, I know some of you guys are already tired of Judgment Day, but wouldn't be surprised if this shit keeps going. But I really would love to see them just break off, because what went down between the Mysterios, that's its own little respected arc that can just develop on its own. I can picture Sister Mysterio, Mama Mysterio. I can see there being some type of intervention. I can see, as clear as day, Rey Mysterio coming out there on Monday Night Raw saying, hey, Dom, you haven't returned my calls, my emails, my texts. Your sister tried touching base with you. My ma tried touching base with you. I know you're here. You're scheduled to be here tonight. I just want to hear where you're coming from, why you did what you did. I could see Rey trying to get his son to come out. The son comes out. I could see him cutting a pretty good, nice little promo. I could see it being a case where when it's all said and done, Dom felt the sleight of hand. He felt disrespected, that after everything that went down with Judgment Day, and just for as long as Dom had his dad's back, and when it counted the most, he wanted for his son to be outside the ring like a fucking cheerleader. Because basically he wasn't good enough to partner up with him. And also at the same time, this really being a case where Dom is tired of feeling disrespected, continuing to be in the shadows of his dad, wanting to make his own mark, all that shit. Now, how that will tie back to Judgment Day, which I hope it doesn't, but I could just see Judgment Day meddling around with this. I can see Rhea Ripley being the one to officially try and welcome him to Judgment Day. I can see it being a case where Damian Priest and them, this is why we tried to recruit you weeks back. This is what we tried to hip you to. But, you were in your own little world. So we kind of let you be. We were still giving you some tough love, but we figured sooner or later you were going to see exactly what we were seeing. And now you have,
So now you have a choice to make, right? I could see them trying to spin it in that way as far as trying to go about recruiting Dom and all that. But when it's all said and done, I don't see Dominic Mysterio being a single act, if you know what I mean. It is going to be a case where he's going to continue to be surrounded by a supporting cast, as he should be. I just don't see him, for all intents and purposes, as a strong enough character to just stand on his own right now and carry his own load. Just not seeing that yet with the young man. Welcome for those of you that might be trickling on in. We had a tech issue earlier. It was kind of funny too, because we were deep talking about Liv Morgan, and I swear Liv Morgan's people fucking interrupted our stream. I swear that's what happened. But no, once this is over, I'm going to just fuse what you're watching right now with the first part. It's going to be a nice little transition and all that. It'll be one nice, big, well-rounded episode, and you guys will be all right. All right, let's talk some other action. We're almost done with the card, honestly. Next up. Oh, by the way, the match itself, the tag match itself was okay. I mean, look. You've seen Edge and Mysterio against the Judgment Day. You've pretty much seen it all, right? Nothing new right here. Nothing that wowed me. Nothing that fucking, oh, that was a shocker. You know, C+ of a match for what it's worth. Recap of Riddle, Seth Rollins, setting us up for our next match. Riddle taking on Rollins. Seth Rollins going over as expected. I did call for Seth Rollins to get the W on Riddle to basically set it up for a return match at Extreme Rules, of which Riddle should be able to get the dub. I like the way that this was set up, because this felt more like a fight between two people that can't stand each other and wanted to beat the holy living crap out of each other. You know, it really played to the strings from an emotional standpoint, emotional context standpoint. And you can make an argument that Riddle's anger, when you go back and look at this match, you can make an argument that Riddle's anger is what ultimately cost him the match, and thus how you can essentially, you know, tell a story there where no, let's run this back, setting up Extreme Rules and everything. I like the way that this match came off. I mean, both of these guys just pretty much angry at one another. Great vibes all throughout this. I enjoyed seeing these guys letting the action spill outside the ring. I love seeing Riddle at one point lose his cool and going for a steel chair while he had Rollins set up on the announcer's table, and he didn't give a damn if he was going to get disqualified. He wanted to legit hurt Rollins. So I like that. I like that. The story that we've essentially told in this match. Look, the match was good. Don't get me wrong. The match was good. But I think what they're going to do at Extreme Rules is going to be even better. I got to give this match, I'll give it a solid B. B as in boy. I'll give it a solid B. But I can see them doing even better than what they did here tonight, because it did kind of feel as though they were holding back a bit. And I don't mind that, especially if you're going to set up a next act, because to have Seth Rollins take up that much real estate in your head if you're Riddle, that is fantastic, to the point I can see on Monday Night Raw Rollins feeling as though, you know, he put the kid Riddle in his place, and Riddle just out of nowhere jumping his ass. I don't see this being a case where Riddle is going to come out very mellowed out and, hey, dude, I want another match. I don't see that happening. I see fucking Riddle not done with Rollins by a long shot. He is going to continue to have that edge that we've been seeing come from him these past couple of weeks. And I'm liking this new layer that's been unraveling with Riddle. I like, you could almost say unhinged Riddle per se. I love this, and more please is all I have to say. So yeah, expect them to run this back at Extreme Rules. To not do it, they'd be fools. They would honestly be fools. They had a great camera angle at one point too that I had really enjoyed, where Rollins was leading the entire stadium to singing his little beginning of the song, and all you see is the back of Rollins, and he's just doing his maestro work, and it just had a nice Joaquin Phoenix Joker vibe to it and everything. And I just love the way the camera was just backing away and just off the back of Rollins, and it's just backing off, and you're just seeing the crowd all in unison as Rollins turns around and just throws his fist into the ground, calling for a RKO. And the next thing you know, Riddle, somehow he is able to capture Seth Rollins midair while Rollins is trying to go for this RKO to essentially set him up for like this submission clutch hold. It was a great transition, a great fucking transition. These guys, they flowed very well. These guys worked very well with one another. I know a lot of people are going to be upset that Rollins picked up the W here, but I think now that I've kind of laid it out a little better for you guys, hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, and you definitely would agree. Yeah, they're going to run this back, and definitely Riddle will get this. You really shouldn't have a problem with this, especially when it's a case where Riddle gets to work with an established veteran and Seth Rollins, really help take himself to that next level as well and everything. Tyson Fury was chatting it up with Roman Reigns from earlier in the night, as we pretty much are getting ready to go into our main event match. And it turns out Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux were in the crowd watching all the festivities that went down as our main event match, undisputed WWE Universal title, Roman Reigns going up against Drew McIntyre. This was Drew McIntyre country for all intents and purposes. This was Drew country. My God, the reactions this guy was getting all throughout, from the entrance, all throughout the match. This was good. This was fucking good. Roman Reigns retaining his championships. Gotta make sure I put that plural in there. Retaining his championships. 30 minutes, 47 seconds. So, of course, the story being told going into this main event match, hey, no Paul Heyman. Haven't seen Paul Heyman since he got F5 by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Hey, no Usos. Usos got severely injured by Drew McIntyre, and as a result, they weren't able to make the trip out there to Clash at the Castle. Roman Reigns, all alone. How will Roman Reigns retain his championships? Well, tell you how Roman Reigns will retain his championships. With another member from the bloodline. No, I'm not talking about Tamina Snuka. We can still hold out hope for that one, Keep hope alive for that one. I'm hoping before it's all said and done, Tamina will eventually be part of that. Because I think if any female should be part of the bloodline, fuck yeah, throw Tamina in there. Without a shadow of doubt, throw Tamina in there. But no, we had a new member of the bloodline. No Sami Zayn as well. For those of you going, now Sami Zayn, he got taken out as well. So no Sami Zayn on this one when it counted the most. No, we got introduced to a new fresh face for the bloodline. And I'm definitely a big fan of this young man when it's all said and done. This man, you know him as Solo Sikoa. who is the, let me see here. I'm trying to make sure I got this right. He is the cousin of the Usos, right? I believe he is the cousin of the Usos. So first cousin. So, I mean, he looks just like him too, man. I'm telling you, we heard rumblings that maybe this guy was going to be popping up on the main roster and everything. And you hear that, you're going, okay, yeah, I could kind of see that maybe happening. Sure, that would be kind of nice. But now it's actually happened. And you know what? How they went about introducing him officially to the WWE universe, the mainstream universe, having him shake things up, literally. I like this. I fucking like this. I originally thought and was expecting for Karrion Kross to somehow get involved in this and ultimately cost Drew McIntyre a chance at the championship, at winning the championships. But it didn't plan out that way. Although the way, all things considered, remember at one point we saw Karrion Kross say to Drew McIntyre, fuck, you want to go right now? Let's fucking go right now. And I believe at one point later on in the match, I believe Kross did get a jab in there on Drew McIntyre, which had helped Roman Reigns, go in there and start attacking. He was on the offense for a hot little bit after that because it was almost coming off very one-sided when it was just Drew McIntyre taking on Roman Reigns. And I love how that story was essentially played out as far as, okay, Roman, nobody's in your corner. Nobody's here to help you. Now it's just one-on-one. Now what you're going to do? And now we see Roman Reigns, who is just pretty much second-guessing himself for all intents and purposes here. This was very fresh. This was very fresh. I welcomed it. No. He is the youngest brother of Jay and Jimmy, son of Rikishi. Yeah, it's coming back to me, and I had to think about it a little bit more there. But no, he's actually the brother of Jay and Jimmy. So this was nice. This was nice as he came out there at a very critical moment. If I remember correctly, I think Drew McIntyre had connected with the Claymore kick, goes in for the cover. Ref is counting the one. He's counting the two. Next thing you know, the referee gets dragged out of the fucking ring by his ankle. And you see this hooded individual that's just hovering over the referee. By the way, the referee, this was hilarious. So let me see if I got this straight. And for you guys that haven't watched the pay-per-view yet, or you just want to chuckle, you missed it the first rodeo, watch that sequence again when the referee gets pulled out of the ring. Because when he does, he lands on his ass, does the referee, and yet the referee holds his stomach and acts like he got sucker punched big time in the stomach, and then proceeds to act as though he's knocked out afterwards. And I howled with so much fucking laughter. It wasn't even funny because you're seeing the ref do the bump when he gets pulled out. He lands on his ass, but he's selling the stomach, and then he just passes out like, oh, my head. Like, good shit right there. Hoodie comes off, and we see his Sokola, and you're going, oh shit. Like, okay, this is, and I watched a decent amount of his stuff in NXT, and I like the way that they were going about this young man. I definitely was loving it. I liked how they had him briefly kind of meshing it up there with, oh God, what's dude's name? What is dude's name? I keep wanting to say Andrade, but I know it ain't Andrade. Oh shit, Chad, I might need your help. He kept mixing it up there with, he just lost to Tony D'Angelo. I can't, Legado del Fantasma, that whole, he was kind of briefly mixing it up there and everything with them. That's the one main thing that kind of sticks out to me. There was some other stuff that was going on, but yeah, I remember at one point they just had him crushing the hell out of a bunch of enhancement talent for what it's worth and everything. But that's a good way to fucking do it. However, at the same time, you've also painted broadly with your paintbrush that Roman Reigns, when it counts the most and it's a one-on-one situation, he can't get the job done on his own. He has to have some type of fucking help, right? So you've definitely painted that narrative, unfortunately, but at the same time, was anybody really truly interested in seeing this championship reign of his that's gone on now for over 2 years come to an end just like that? Look, I fuck with Drew McIntyre, and make no mistake about it, Drew is definitely going to get a couple of more championship reigns. I definitely feel that, man, when it counted the most and he was the WWE champion during the pandemic, let's remember that. He was known as the pandemic champion. And I will fucking tip my hat off to that guy because he bust his fucking ass night in, night out, making that championship relevant. All the charitable things that he was doing outside of WWE, countless fucking media opportunities. The guy was fucking, when they really needed for somebody to be the face of the company and go out there and literally do the work, he was that guy. And so make no mistake about it, before it's all said and done, honestly, before 2024 hits, he will have a couple of more world championship reigns under his belt. Make no mistake about it. Do not be surprised to the point if before fall of 2023, he hasn't had another run. I guarantee you, 2023, Drew will have another run as a world heavyweight champion. Bank on it. Bank on it. But it really feels as though, it's interesting because, for some of my colleagues that were, looking at this, you're going, Vince is no longer, this could happen. This could happen. We legit could see a new champ. I wasn't seeing that. You know why? Because I'm still on the whole, no, let Roman hold on to the championship just long enough until, if you want to pull the trigger and you want to maybe make it theory, okay, I under the right circumstances, I could see that happening. Or if you want it to be Cody Rhodes, I can fucking see that. Or if you want it to be Karrion Kross, I can fucking see that happening as well, right? But you're in a really good position when it's all said and done. Or Braun Strowman under the right circumstances, right? If you maybe want to go that route, you could definitely do that as well. But I just feel at this point, Roman is going to be holding on at least until next WrestleMania. I want to prepare you guys because it just feels like nowadays most people, every pay-per-view, they're doing, this is the pay-per-view. This is the pay-per-view where Roman's going to lose. And it's like, no, guys. Prepare for a much longer haul. It ain't going down until we pretty much get to Mania for what it's worth. And I welcome it. It's interesting to be living during this time where we're seeing, because this is unheard of, this long of a championship reign. Now, some people, they may want to go with Nick Aldis and his run as the NWA champion, but let's not also forget that there was that period where NWA had went dark and there was nothing going on. Okay, there was nothing going on. Pretty much like with ROH, when the pandemic was at its core, like nothing was fucking going on, right? So, but I love this. I love this match between both of these guys. I got to give this one a B+. For what it's worth. That was balls. I will say, for Triple H and crew, that was balls for them to continue to have Roman Reigns be the undisputed universal heavyweight champion. Because, man, it doesn't get any sweeter. It doesn't get any better to crown a new champion than this pay-per-view in front of this crowd that was that pro fucking Drew McIntyre. It doesn't get any fucking better than that, right? But with Sikoa making his debut, which was a nice fucking touch as well, I mean, now you've essentially, you got a nice little position right here where Drew could say, Sikoa, you and me, we got some business we need to take care of. Meddle around in my shit, right? I owe you one, son, right? I can see a little something of the magnitude playing out between those two. But then, you got Karrion Kross still kind of in the mix of that as well, because it's like sooner or later, him and Drew, they're definitely going to be locking it up and everything. So, good shit right there. I like these different layers that's going on with Roman as champion right now. Karrion Kross just lingering, okay? And Drew, hell of a valiant effort that he put up, right? He could still make an argument that, nah, man, if it wasn't for, like, come on, what the fuck, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this calendar year plays out. But, man, they are really getting back at full strength when it comes to just the variety of contenders at play for Roman Reigns right now. Fucking loving it. Post-match, Tyson Fury got in the ring, shook the hand of Roman Reigns. Reigns and Sikoa, they made their exit as Fury had grabbed a microphone, congratulated McIntyre, told him told him how proud he was of how he represented and everything. And that had pretty much led them off to, by the way, what the fuck was up with the one fan chanting AEW? I don't know if anybody else had caught that, but there was a obnoxious fan. I don't know if he was directing it to Tyson Fury or if he was directing it to Drew, but there was a obnoxious fan by the end of this damn thing that was just chanting repeatedly AEW. And I couldn't wait for them to shut the fuck up. Sincerely. And the only reason why I know that is because after the match was over, I see Tyson Fury and he's grabbing the microphone. I'm going, oh, let me hear what he's got to say. So I unmuted and then I'm hearing the fan, AEW. I'm going, really, dude? Of all the fucking times to chant AE fucking dub. Hopefully you were chanting AEW during Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler, right? It's like, but you're chanting AEW during, like, whatever, dude. Fucking whatever. But anyway, I think I gave this match a B, right? B plus. I'll go with a B plus. I'll go with a B plus for this matchup. But yeah, they did a sing along afterwards. That was kind of nice. And then I'm trying to think, what was the song? Drew wanted to know if Tyson Fury knew the words to Sweet Caroline. And Tyson was like, nah, I don't know. And Drew was like, I just know the fucking chorus to that one. Whatever, right? And they ended with the song. I'm trying to think. God, I think it's some fucking British band from back in the day. They kind of sounded like they might have been the Verve or whatever. Some song, Don't Look Back in Anger. Not an Oasis song. I don't know. Well, then again, I think it was Oasis. I actually think it was a Oasis song that had fucking closed out the show that they were singing along to. Yeah, I'm pretty confident now. I got to go back to my Oasis catalog. I have not listened to Oasis in a good fucking minute, man. That shows you where I am. But overall, good pay-per-view. Overall, pretty damn good pay-per-view. Great fucking show. Good caliber of matches. High point for me, I would say. High point for me, I got to go with Gunther taking on Sheamus. Low point. See, let me go back a second. I really did enjoy Roman and Drew too, for what it was worth. I really, really enjoyed. I'm also thinking about Riddle and Rollins. That would be like an honorable mention, but definitely the highest point for me. If I just had to pick one match, I actually got to go with Gunther and Sheamus. Low point, I got to go with Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler. For what it's worth. So overall, I would give this pay-per-view a respected B+. Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shit, 10 being awesome sauce. I'll probably give it a, factoring in the fans as well, their energy and all that, the venue. Felt like a major event too. It felt like a major sporting event. Felt like you were part of something historic, and you were, because the last time WWE had did anything, a major pay-per-view, in the UK 30 fucking years ago, right? So it's been a good fucking minute, all right? So I loved how it fucking felt, man. I love how it fucking felt. If you had one caveat, you could just make an argument, man, if you weren't going to have Drew win it right here, shit, is there ever going to come a time for Drew again as a world champion, right? Really talk about a way to send the fans home happy, right? But I'm just thinking about that number scale. I would probably say 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. So B+ overall, but number scale, I'm going with an 8.5 out of 10. They did pretty good. They definitely did pretty good. Let's see. Let's keep rocking and rolling. If you haven't done so already, make sure you smash that pretty little like button. Help other people discover the content with these. Hit subscribe as well so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. All right, so we got a little bit more to talk about. Checked out Rampage from this Friday, and don't forget, guys, for some of you all, you may not be aware of this, I do write for 401mania.com, and every single Friday night, if you got work or you're gonna be out and about with friends, not gonna be able to check out Rampage, just bookmark 401 Mania on Friday nights and come around 10 minutes before the show actually comes on, and you can interact with me and everybody else. It's a nice big old comment thread as we're all just reacting in real time to the last couple of minutes of SmackDown as we go into Rampage, and we're just talking up a storm and everything. It's a great fucking crowd. Great. Really, I'm not just saying it. It's a really great community. Even the ones that are, sometimes stickler for details or can come off a little bit trollish at times. It's overall, it is a really good community, if I do say so. But we had got a live AEW Rampage for this Friday, which I fucking welcome. Because see, look, part of the big problem with AEW Rampage and why it's not doing as well, especially when you go back and look at the trajectory ratings-wise, the demos and all that, going back from when it debuted a year ago, and you see where it is now, part of what's definitely been hurting them is the fact that most of their episodes are taped. And by most of their episodes being fucking taped, that puts the spoilers out there. And so now you got a scenario where people can just read the fucking spoilers. Oh, yeah, I don't have to watch that shit. I don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to miss anything. It's only when, wow, all these people were reacting to this match, apparently, that was so damn good on Rampage, right? Isn't it interesting? I gotta say, isn't it interesting? When the people who are there in attendance, make note of this next time. Make note of this next time, now that I'm telling you guys this. Isn't it interesting how when spoilers do get put out there for Rampage, it's never a growing consensus that you're coming across on social media where you got a bunch of people that are saying, hey, man, I know Rampage is taped, but yo, this match with blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Nah, man, I'm telling you, Rampage this Friday, you gotta fucking watch just for that match. Man, it's gonna have a lot of people talking. That match was fucking good, man. You gotta watch. Isn't it interesting how you don't normally, it's only after the fact. It's only when you're watching that match on that night, in that respected time frame, and you're reacting to that match on social media as it's playing out, and the traction, the buzz that builds off of. Isn't that, I just always thought that was interesting, because I don't know about you guys, but say I went to a concert, just hypothetically speaking, and this actually did happen to me. I remember when I had saw Soundgarden. Chris Cornell was still alive and everything. This was back in 2000. Let me see, was it 2011 or 2012? I think it was in 2012. I got to go back and check, because I still have the photos, my ticket stub, and all that. But I remember when I saw Soundgarden at the Patriots Center down in Virginia. And I was curious afterwards, because by the time I got home, I had no voice. I was full of energy. It was great. I remember waking Tams up. Back then we had just kind of, we're still in the dating phase, getting familiar with one another. I think at that point, I'm trying to think, was I still visiting her at that point, or was I think at that point we were living together, but only by a couple of months. And I remember being so curious about what other people were saying about that particular concert. I remember I had went on social media and I had looked to see, surely I'm not the only one. And sure enough, there was just fan after fan after fan after fan after fan, we're sharing their reactions to seeing Soundgarden at the Patriots Center, right? So bringing it back to what I just mentioned to you guys, just have that in the back of your head going forward. I just always find that fascinating how, you don't really hear anything when it comes to, these shows being taped, but that, man, as we're watching it on TV and, we're reacting, and then it's after the fact, you get these people, yeah, I was there. And, yeah, that match was good. It's nice to see that the match is getting so much love. It's like, well, if you saw it before, why weren't you being vocal? You knew about this match. You knew it was going to be on TV, for about 4 or 5 days. What? Nobody said you had to spoil the match, but why weren't you, singing the praises then? Why are you singing the praises now? Just home in on that next time. Home in on that. But they got to be live. That's part of how you can fix the current problem that's going on with AEW Rampage. You got to stop with these taped fucking episodes, because the spoilers, it gets leaked, and then everybody just pretty much goes, yeah, I'm good. Look, I saw this shit go down with Impact Wrestling. Back in the day when I was faithfully covering the Impact product, I used to stay seeing that shit happen. Right down to the point, they're not around anymore, but back in the day, there used to be shows that would dedicate themselves to spoiling the hell out of Impact Wrestling episodes. Remember those times where, this was under the Dixie Carter reign now, remember those times where Impact Wrestling would fucking tape like 4, 5, 6, 8, 12 fucking weeks worth of fucking episodes? Remember back in those days? And man, if you wanted to know what was going on, you could have back in the day just gone on YouTube, and motherfuckers had spoilers. And I just was amazed when I would see that shit go down. So, but that's the first part. That is the first part. And then the second part to getting Rampage in a position where, it's it's must see Friday. You gotta go out of your way. You gotta watch it. You gotta build up around 1 or 2 main event matches. You gotta start hyping them up. You gotta start building them up on that Wednesday's fucking Rampage. That's how you gotta do it. I mean, look, they're doing right. AEW, Tony Khan and them, they're doing right when they're previewing the card, letting you know what's going to be coming up on Rampage and everything. But it needs to stop feeling, as of late, this is how it's been feeling to me. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's been feeling like, oh, it's just AEW Dark Elevation or AEW Dark. It's just on TV, officially on TV. We gotta get past that. We gotta get past that. I don't understand what's so hard with the greatest amount of depth that Tony Khan has with his roster. You're telling me you can't do 2 guaranteed, bona fide, must watch, can't miss main event matches on Rampage every single week? You're telling me you can't do that? Come on, you gotta do that. You definitely gotta do that. This live Rampage was a decent show. It checked all the right boxes as far as setting you up for, setting you up for AEW All Out. Check. Setting you up for that road to AEW All Out. Check. Okay. Putting that incentive, emphasizing the TBS championship match that's going to be going down at All Out between Jade Cargill and Athena. Check. Circling back to Swerve and Our Glory and their match that's going to be going down with the Acclaimed. Check. I mean, good shit right there. I love the incentive that came with watching that live Rampage as far as, this is it. You got to watch this trios match, because this trios match between Orange Cassidy and Best Friends taking on, Hangman Adam Page in the Dark Order. Whoever wins this goes to the pay-per-view in less than 48 hours, and they're going to be facing the Elite to crown the first ever AEW Trios champions. I like that incentive that you see what I'm talking about when I say they got to do a better job in creating more of an incentive for, hey, this really is must see. You can't miss, right? They got to start doing more shit like that. And I think it would definitely help them, because on average, if you're lucky when it comes to these Rampage shows, if you're lucky, you can probably get maximum I've seen to date for a 1-hour show. I have seen on average 4 matches. Once in a blue moon, I'll see 5, because maybe something was a squash and they pull an audible, and it's happened before, right? It's rare, but it's happened before. But on average, I have seen 4 matches on Rampage. Not a lot of talking, not a lot of yakety yak, microphone killing time. Speaking of microphone killing time, I thought it was kind of comical the way Rampage had ended, as we saw Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson. They're just flapping at the gums over by the commentary table. I'm going, it looked like they were having just a genuine disagreement about Van Halen or Sammy Hagar. Who was the better lead singer in Van Halen, right? I mean, literally, that's what it looked like. They were fucking, just a nice little debate. I was ready to see these two guys just beat the living shit out of each other. And we just go off with them just casually, just in each other's face. But seriously, it just looked like, fucking Bryan Danielson was out there, Sammy Hagar, and Jericho's like, Diamond Dave, fuck you. I mean, seriously, you got to go back and watch that. Seriously, you got to go back and watch that shit. But if they just worked on some of those things, I think some of those things, it would be a good start. A lot of people are still infatuated with, they just need to move their time. They just need to get away from Friday altogether. Move to Saturday or move to No. Not if you gotta still address the issues that's at hand. Without addressing those issues, it ain't gonna really matter. Your ratings are gonna continue to, it is what it is. Ray Phoenix taking on Blake Christian. I was about to say Christian Blake, but Blake Christian taking on Ray Phoenix actually was pretty good. I see Phoenix is getting his swole on, man. He's getting a little bigger. Kind of reminding me of vintage Rey Mysterio with the current build that he's got going on and everything. Ortiz and Ruby Soho taking on Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti. This was a rematch from the previous week. This go around, Ortiz and Ruby picking up the W. Very entertaining matchup. Actually, well better executed than the tag match that went down last week. I am still, some people may feel I'm being a little bit too critical about Ortiz and him as a singles competitor. And in case you don't know, I basically had said, as far as Ortiz as a singles competitor, I'm just not seeing it. I see more stock in him in the tag division. And I went on record saying, I hope that him and Santana can, whatever's going on, hopefully time heals, all wounds. And, they can reunite as a tag team again and tear up the tag division, whether it's in AEW or elsewhere. But the team of him and Ruby Soho, it's growing on me. It's actually growing on me. And I like the fact that the way things are looking right now, we've got this teasing of maybe somewhere down the line, we're going to see Sammy and Tay defend those intergender tag titles, right? Because Ortiz and Ruby, they sure would like a taste. They want to get a little taste of that. So I'm definitely feeling that. Ricky Starks taking on QT Marshall. And, you just looked at that and said, Ricky needs a dub. He needs to look dominant. He needs to look pretty damn good going into his all-out match against Powerhouse Hobbs. But seeing Hobbs come out after the match, him and Starks brawling, officials doing their best to break it up. Good shit. Good shit when it was all said and done. Solid go-home edition, though, of AEW Rampage overall. With those nice little emphasis that they put even on Hangman Page there. I like seeing the appearance of Don Callis. And Callis saying to Hangman Page, yo, man, I see how you rolling, and I like it. I like the fact that you said fuck you to your best friends when they tried to recruit you for this tournament, and instead you go find some little flunkies here in the Dark Order, get them relevance in the process, but getting your shine on. Yeah, that's how you do it. Sometimes you got to screw friends over to get to the top, basically. And Hangman Page did not like that. He struck a nerve, but you just couldn't help but look at that and ask yourself the question, if you were watching this on Friday night, is Don Callis actually on to something? Is he previewing a taste of things to come with Hangman Adam Page? Does he know what he's talking about? Or does he have it all wrong, right? Kind of one of those type of deals. So, yeah, some nice little interesting developments, going into, because see, now that Don Callis has said that, you really can't help but wonder, is Hangman truly in this, or is he maybe gonna somehow sabotage things to ensure that the elite, right? You just got to think like that. Right? Probably not, but it's nice to think like that. So, but yeah, nice go home Rampage. Hey, let's talk AEW All Out. Pay-per-view is going to be coming up this Sunday. I will be live with you guys as soon as that pay-per-view concludes. I don't know what time that damn thing is going to be over. Hopefully, how Tony Khan and them like to be. They like to be pretty long-winded, but you know what? We sat through 3 hours, 27 minutes of a pay-per-view earlier today with Clash at the Castle. So you know what? 3 hours, 30 minutes. You know, if that's what All Out ends up being, I think most of us would be okay with that. I think any longer than that, well, you know. But as it stands right now, we've got a total of 15 matches. Let's talk match predictions. We're going to go through this card real fucking quick. Remember, we got the buy-in hour, so big bulk of those matches that I just mentioned, those 15 matches, big bulk of those is going to be on the buy-in pre-show hour. First up, Ishii taking on Eddie Kingston. They pretty much just had to build this up from out of nowhere. Actually, there's no build. They just said, here you go. I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston. Isn't it interesting, just all things considered and everything that had came about with Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara? And if you missed my takes on that, check out this past Thursday's Wrestling with the Topics. It's now available on demand and on the downloads. I talked at great length about everything about that whole Eddie Kingston situation. But see, I hate shit like this for the simple fact there's no story, there's no build up, there's nothing right down to the point. If you watched Rampage and were hoping for some type of, all you pretty much got was, hey, don't forget, we got the buy-in hour, Ishii, Eddie Kingston. You're like, okay. I honestly could care less who wins in this one, but if I got to pick somebody, I'll go with Eddie Kingston. Pac taking on Kip Sabian, singles match for the AEW All Atlantic Championship. Well, remember, this is the new and improved Kip Sabian, because he's wearing the lunch paper bags on his face and all that other shit. It's another one I could care less about. You know, ever since we introduced this AEW All Atlantic Championship, I mean, that's great that they've been showing little highlights of where Pac had defended it. Yeah. What you doing defending it at the Walmart? You know, hey, he was at the Jiffy Lube defending it. You know, you get what I'm saying. I mean, all joking aside, right? I kind of look at this as the Indie Fed Championship, right? Just going to whatever promotion and just, that's how I'm looking at this championship right now. But nothing for me, you know. Here's something else that you could be doing on Rampage on Friday nights, right? You got this AEW All Atlantic Championship. And if there was ever a time where you could work out a deal, have somebody come in specifically so they could, right, against Pac. Another match I really don't care about, though, but I'll go with Pac for the retain. Hook defending the FTW Championship against Angelo Parker. Hook continues to fucking amaze me. Hook is killing it, man. I got to go with Hook. No reason for me to sidestep right now. Jericho Appreciation Society's Tay and Sammy going up against Ruby, Soho, and Ortiz. Mixed tag match. We were just talking about it. Mixed tag match for the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championship. They're just getting started. Tay and Sammy. They're just getting started. I see no reason why they would drop the titles. At least during the buy-in. I don't see that happening. No. All right, actual card. Bryan Danielson taking on Chris Jericho. My question is, how much of a factor, if at all, will Daniel Garcia play in this? Because remember, Daniel Garcia is hoping that what he sees out of Chris Jericho is going to be a straight up one-on-one match. He feels in his heart Jericho doesn't need to dig down deep, go into his bag of shenanigans to try to pick up a W over Danielson. He's fucking Lionheart Chris Jericho. So enough said. And as we've seen off and on the past couple of weeks and everything, right? We've seen how Daniel Garcia has been conflicted, but At least as of last week, he's pretty much said, hey, I'm rededicating myself to the Jericho Appreciation Society, yada, 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 yada. Which is why you need to have Chris Jericho win. You need to have Chris Jericho win because the way Jericho's character has always came off. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And when I say that, what I'm basically saying is there's no way you're going to push Chris Jericho on his ass twice. And then when Jericho was trying to do a little something to Bryan Danielson with a steel chair, you yoink that son of a bitch away from him, right? No. You're not going to do all those things to Chris Jericho and go unchecked. There's a receipt coming. And I think you can knock out two birds with one stone right here by having Jericho win. I do see Jericho at some point kind of relapsing and maybe trying to do some foul shit. Garcia, maybe checkmates him, dude, what are you doing? I can see that going down, almost cost Jericho the W. But I could see Jericho somehow picking up the win when it counts the most. But then afterwards, I'm just picturing the Jericho Appreciation Society out there or whatever. And I can see or maybe you don't need to have all those guys out there. Maybe it could just be Daniel Garcia. I can see Daniel Garcia raising the arm of Chris Jericho. And I can see Jericho laying out Garcia. Whether it's Garcia or Garcia and a couple of more Jericho Appreciation guys. I can see it playing out in a way where Jericho lays out Garcia. He's got a receipt he's got to cash in on his ass. Right? So, two birds with one stone. You give Jericho a win, but also in the process, you help try to build up Daniel Garcia even more. Garcia, Jericho program. Let Jericho, let Daniel Garcia, go through some of those Jericho guys. Maybe everything culminates in unlikely allies as far as Hook joining forces with Daniel Garcia. Give you guys a little something to think about. I mean, really picture that. Really picture that. As it stands right now, when you look at the people that the Jericho Appreciation Society has pretty much pissed off, right? I mean, they've pretty much pissed off Ortiz, Ruby Soho. Okay? You see what Hook has been doing with Angelo Parker and the other guy, right? So Hook can easily just slide right into that bad boy. Putting Garcia into that mix as well, that'd be kind of good as well. If you're ready to have Wardlow move on, you can easily slide him right up in there. If you wanted to, you could slide him in there. Some food for thought. Toni Storm versus Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter versus Sheeta. 4-way match for the interim AEW Women's Championship. Keywords: interim championship. Interim. Temporary champion. Placeholder, basically. I'm actually hoping that Jamie Hayter walks away as the new interim champion. Look, Toni Storm very well could get it, and I hope that Toni Storm actually does it as well, because I think she's definitely been doing pretty good so far since being in AEW and everything. But Jamie Hayter, as some of you longtime listeners may recall, I've been pushing for dissension between Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel for the longest time, especially when Jamie Hayter came back from, I think it was an injury that she had sustained, and she pretty much had debuted this great new look. I mean, she looked like a damn Amazon, where she was built and everything, still holding it up, been able to maintain it to this very day and everything. But I've been saying for months I would love to see Britt Baker somehow, what turns into respect and admiration becomes jealousy, animosity towards Jamie Hayter. What better way to pretty much build that up, especially if you don't want Britt to turn into a face, you still want to continue to have her being a heel. What better way to continue establishing Britt as that heel than have her act like the greatest cheerleader to Jamie Hayter being a new AEW interim women's champion? But in the process, that admiration and all that, it flips, and ultimately there is a turn on Jamie Hayter. I mean, you could definitely set it up that way. I'm not seeing anything happen with Sheeta. It just feels like whenever they need to dust off Sheeta and plant her in there somewhere, that's honestly how it comes off. I think fans will be having a field day, and they will be just poo-pooing all over this if Britt Baker ends up winning the interim championship. See, the only reason why I'm not really that convinced on a Toni Storm reign is because I was considering what was going on with Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa as Thunder Rosa seems she was planting the seeds there of maybe being a heel, and it's like, okay, so is that the course that we're gonna continue to stay on once Thunder Rosa comes back? I'm not quite convinced that Tony Khan and crew are gonna stay on that path. I'm just not. So I'm also thinking about literally during the interim, I think Jamie Hayter, I think she would do fine as a interim champion until Thunder Rosa comes back into the mix and those two getting it on. And then if you want to run it back and pretty much, run it back between Toni Storm and what's her face? Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. Yeah, then you can go ahead and fucking run it back. Sure, no problem. But I wouldn't be surprised if Toni Storm won. But I'm really rooting for Jamie Hayter, so I'm going with Jamie Hayter on that one. House of Black. Did we talk about that one? House of Black taking on Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. It's really hard for me to go against Darby Allin, Sting, Miro. It's really hard for me to go against those guys because if I'm not mistaken, Darby Allin and Sting, just that team alone, they're still fucking undefeated. I keep trying to hit people to that. I don't personally want to see House of Black lose. I personally do not want to see House of Black lose, but here's the issue. We're talking about an undefeated Sting when it comes to tag team action. And he has yet to lose. And I just don't see him losing right here. If it was any other team, I'm going with House of Black. And Lord knows, I love House of Black. To the point I had House of Black winning the Trios tournament, if not being in the finals of the tournament. So that shows you how high up I have those guys, how much respect I have for those guys, how much love I have for those guys. But didn't pan out that way. You would like to believe that, here's a nice little rebound, nice little consolation prize, but I'm going to be watching this match because remember, we've got some of those rumors running around that Malachi Black apparently wasn't really happy with some of the creative direction that was going on with his character in AEW. And then supposedly the rumblings were out there that he wanted a release from AEW, but Fightful, they're saying, to the contrary, we haven't heard anything about Malachi Black wanting to be released from AEW, but we have been hearing that, he isn't quite feeling some of the things that's been happening behind the scenes, they weren't really definitive about what were the issues that he was having, but they did say that whatever issues he was having, it did get worked out and everything. So I'm definitely going to be watching this match very closely because, wow, if House of Black were to get a dub over Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro, that's all I got to say. Jade Cargill defending the AEW TBS Championship against Athena. I would really love to see Athena become the new champion, but I'm just not convinced that Athena is going to be the one to give Jade Cargill her first defeat, which then creates the question of, well, if not Athena, then who? Now, if Jamie Hayter does not come out as the new interim AEW Women's Champion, do you maybe eventually have Jamie Hayter go after Jade Cargill? And something to think about. Or if you're not going to even go in that direction, but you're going to have Athena lose, then what happens? Just Jade hold on to the championship just long enough until Chris Statlander comes back? And do you maybe have her drop it to Chris Statlander? Or because Jade is running out of people to face for that championship, which is even more the reason why I would love to just start seeing Jade Cargill have that TBS championship basically be an open invitation. Whatever promotion you're from, just come bring it. I personally would love to see Rosemary from Impact Wrestling or Jessica Havoc, Su Yung, Camille Brickhouse, Kenzie Page. I mean, there are just a shit ton of women out there. I would even love to see some of the women from WOW, Women of Wrestling. I'm very surprised, and maybe it'll happen in the next couple of years, but I personally would love to see David McLean and Tony Khan work out some type of a deal. I mean, man, can you just picture Jade Cargill going up against the Beast? Good God, oh fucking mighty. Seriously, man. But I would love to see, just to shake it up, just to make it interesting, I would love to see Athena, but I'm just not seeing it right now. I really am getting the impression that of all the things that's been happening correctly in AEW, and even though she's still very green, Tony Khan loves his Jade Cargill. I mean, that is his own little female Goldberg, and I just don't see that streak coming to an end this Sunday, at least not at the hands of Athena. We just got done talking about Jade Cargill and Athena, right? Now we're on Jungle Boy taking on Christian Cage. This match has really lost its steam, I personally feel. And I think where it really started losing its steam is when Luchasaurus had went heel. And that created a very interesting dynamic because you looked at that and you're going, oh shit, so Jungle Boy is essentially going to have to get through Luchasaurus in order to get to Christian Cage. You were just looking at that story arc early on and you're going, okay, this seems pretty interesting, especially with the built-in real-life story arc of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They go way back. Luchasaurus has known Jungle Boy since he was a 4 or 5-year-old kid and everything. And so, I found that to be very intriguing, as I had looked at Christian Cage for those brief couple of weeks where he pretty much was acting like a manager for Luchasaurus. I kind of looked at it as Christian Cage being the sinister minister, Father James Mitchell, and the Monster Abyss, right? But put Christian Cage in the James Mitchell role, Luchasaurus is the Monster Abyss. And I thought that was the direction that we were going to be going in Jungle Boy's quest to ultimately get to Christian Cage. And for me, to see just the nonchalant flip that Luchasaurus did and going back to being a babyface, it kind of hurt the storytelling. I felt a little bit. And then we had that one week where Jungle Boy is out there throwing F-bombs left and right and shit, and you're going, Okay. I guess he's on his grown man shit now, right? Right? He's on that grown man shit. You know, and then he just regressed shortly after that. And I mean dramatically he regressed. And it was just, now it's just a case where this program, it really hasn't been doing anything for me. Has not been doing anything for me, sadly. And that sucks. That, you know, I don't like saying that, because I like both of these guys. I think very highly of Christian Cage, of course. I'm seeing the I'm seeing the freaking I'm seeing what's going on there with Jungle Boy, and you know, he definitely seems pretty promising for all intents and purposes, for what it's worth. But, and I guess if I gotta pick, I guess I'll go with Jungle Boy. I guess I'll fucking go with Jungle Boy for the W. He's got to get the big comeback. Wardlow and FTR taking on Jay Lethal in the Motor City Machine Gun 6-man tag match. I don't like seeing my man Wardlow in this position. You know, look, for FTR, I mean, they're taking on a dream team in the Motor City Machine Guns, right? Jay Lethal, I mean, he's just been killing it left and right. He's had a great string of some solid matches within recent weeks, man. But, you know, the odd man out is definitely the TNT champion there in Wardlow. And I hear what Dax had said with his passionate promo from this past Friday's Rampage and all that, but I'm looking at Wardlow, and, you know, Wardlow has gotten ice fucking cold like a mofo. Okay, I don't mean Kool Moe Dee cold or Ice Cube cold or Ice T cold. He's just gotten winter is coming cold. Okay, and I'm not liking that. This has hurt his momentum tremendously. So, I mean, I'm sure he's going to have some nice moments in there. I can see him, you know, power bombing the hell out of who is it? Fucking Sanjay Dutt. I just see a massive fucking beatdown happening to that poor dude. But Wardlow definitely getting him some of that due repeatedly with the Symphony of Destruction power bombs. But I see this being a nice, good feel moment and all that for Wardlow and FTR. But yeah, you can tell me that stuff about Pinnacle. You know, once a member of Pinnacle, always the Pinnacle. You can give me that line all you want, but I'm pretty much past that. Claudio Castagnoli versus Wheeler Yuta versus Penta El Zero Miedo versus Rey Fenix versus Rush versus Andrade El Idolo versus Dante Martin versus a mystery opponent to be determined. It's a casino ladder match. Winner receives a future AEW World Championship match. I can't help but wonder who that mystery person is going to be. Is it possible that maybe Jeff Hardy could be making his return at the pay-per-view? That's something that you guys got to think about, because if it is in fact Jeff Hardy, then I'm going to say Jeff Hardy picks up the win. If it's not going to be Jeff Hardy, then I am going to say, because we got to remember, whoever wins that AEW World Championship match, they have a date with the winner of this match. So keeping that in mind, I am going to say, oh man, this should be interesting. I'm going to go with Andrade El Idolo. That's who I'm going to be going with, Andrade El Idolo. Because I think you guys kind of see exactly where I'm going as far as the main event match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Well, then again, wait a minute. Let me really think about this now. Yeah, I'm going to go with Andrade El Idolo. All right, Swerve in Our Glory hole taking on the Acclaimed tag match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Really like the Acclaimed. I really do. I'm just not sure if this weekend is going to be their time. I would truly like it to be. If there was ever a team that just, it's time. Let's fucking see the Acclaimed. Yeah, especially getting them off of Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Yeah, but yeah, it should be a damn good tag match too. No, don't get me wrong. That should be a damn good tag match. Looking at this card, it should be one of 3 of the best matches for the entire night. I don't see Swerve and Our Glory losing right here. Ricky Starks taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. I love both of these fucking guys. I hate picking one over the other. I really, really do. Fuck. I hate this. I hate this on so many levels. I guess I gotta go with Ricky Starks because he was betrayed by Powerhouse Hobbs and all that. I guess I gotta go with Starks, but I hate picking, the Elite. Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Kenny Omega taking on Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order. Tournament final for the inaugural AEW World Trios Championship. This could go either way. Damn, this is a tricky one. Remember, this is for the AEW World Trios Championship. I'm going to go with Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order, and I'm going to explain to you the reason why. I kind of feel as though there's an underlying story going on here with the Elite, and of course, that being Kenny Omega. And I just really feel as though Kenny Omega has pretty much returned at this point to do his part in really helping not just sell, but, lend his name to All Out, right? We know how the All Out pay-per-view, Chicago, we know how near and dear it is to his heart and all that, all things considered, right? So I feel as though it's the main reason why we're seeing Kenny on this current ride right now, going into this pay-per-view and everything involving the Trios Championship. I still believe in the story arc of did Kenny Omega come back too soon? I still believe that, and I think that's definitely going to be emphasized quite a bit during this match. I'm seeing Hangman Adam Page. That's going to be a nice moment, too, seeing Kenny Omega across the ring from Hangman Adam Page. All that fucking history between those guys too, when you really stop and think of, oh my God, that's going to be a nice fucking trip down memory lane. And I know the commentators are going to be all over that. They're going to be all over that, but I'm just looking past All Out. I don't see Kenny Omega continuing to appear on a weekly basis. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but I really feel as though, they're going to be setting him up for something, right? If they were really smart too, as far as setting up Kenny Omega, if they were really smart, I would love to see them ultimately set Kenny Omega up to somehow cross paths with W. Morrissey. I mean, there's a guy that's just been steamrolling through the fucking competition left and right and everything. If you really wanted to fucking have that dude make a fucking name for himself in storyline and all that, have him fucking take out Kenny Omega. There's something right there, but I'm going to go with Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order to become your first ever AEW World Trios Champions. Jon Moxley taking on CM Punk, singles match for the AEW World Championship. It's interesting because I was going into this saying, okay, we're going to get a heel CM Punk. It just seems as though all signs seem to indicate heel CM Punk, but after what had transpired on Wednesday's Dynamite, I'm not quite convinced that's what's going to be happening. I'm not quite convinced that's going to be happening. Instead, I am seeing CM Punk pretty much getting back his eye of the fucking tiger, you know, and basically winning the championship, and we properly getting a CM Punk run, babyface run as champion. That is what I'm seeing that's going to be going down, basically. And you notice earlier I had said in regards to who wins that casino ladder match, I went with Andrade El Idolo. I think Andrade and CM Punk, the two of them in the ring, I think that would be one banger fucking classic, and everything that you can have, you know, the build up to it and everything, I think it would just play itself out beautifully. You know, I'm looking at the other names and nobody really jumps out to me, you know, at least by me going with Andrade El Idolo. Okay, Punk's going to have his hands full because he's dealing with Andrade. He's going to be dealing with Rouge. Not really sure if he's still going to be dealing with Private Party because they're a little bit on the fence there with Rouge and Andrade El Idolo. You know, we'll have to wait and see. But if it's going to be a numbers game that CM Punk is going to be experiencing, you know, he'll see some type of help maybe come in the form of Matt Hardy, possibly Jeff Hardy. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, I'll just go with Matt Hardy for sure. Private Party, right? So, you know, it's definitely interesting. Some interesting angles you can go with that one, but that's how I'm looking at it. That should be a damn good matchup too. That should definitely be the match of the night. All right, so with that, AEW All Out predictions now officially in the book. Don't forget, I will be live with you guys doing a post show covering fallout from that event as soon as the event concludes. And hopefully I will have all this weird technical shit figured out by the time we get ready to do the post show, because that was so fucking weird what was going on earlier. I mean, to have the stream be interrupted twice, no bueno. But knowing me, I'm going to be taking about an hour or two while I'm waiting for this audio version to mix down. And I'll definitely be hammering it out, you know, trying to figure out what the fuck was going on there, pretty much nip it in the bud. Meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search RCWR Show, show the ultimate support. Click the bell notification depending on where you're checking this out. Shout out if you're checking this out via YouTube. Make sure you click on that bell so you know about new content coming your way. Subscribe on all the outlets. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. Can't stress it enough. YouTube. If you guys are around when we are initially live, you are more than welcome. What really sucks about the issues that we were having with the stream tonight was the fact that there was a decent amount of people that were coming out, you know, representing, checking it out and everything. And now, unfortunately, right, you know, it sucks. It fucking sucks. But don't worry. We'll have this all straightened out by the time we get to the AEW All Out joint. Oh, by the way, for you 401 Mania lovers out there, if you aren't going to be able to check out the NXT Worlds Collide event that's going to be happening at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will actually be on the site providing live coverage, written up review, and all that. So have at it, and hopefully you'll be able to join me in the comments and interact with me on social media as I'll be covering that event. I won't do a post show after it's over. Instead, I'll give my thoughts about the pay-per-view on the AEW All Out post show for you guys. All right, get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR Show. And until next go round, I am wishing all of you all to be safe and most importantly be kind to one another. I'll see you all next go round. Adios.
Thanks for listening. An Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive.